Hey guys, I'm Nikki from The Fabulous Life Builder, where we talk about attachment style and personal development to help you build your fabulous life. So today, I was going through Instagram and I saw a short little reel about positive affirmations. And this, by the way, was by Darlene Marshall from the Better Than Fine podcast. She does through the NASM. I will promise to try to send a link to that below. She was talking about how positive affirmations for a lot of people don't land. They just don't work. And anybody who is familiar with any type of, self-help and personal development material, such as videos, books, gurus, coaches, what have you, they are big with the positive affirmations. And a lot of them come across with the message of just tell yourself positive things, right? Just give yourself some positive affirmations and things will just go better. And well, I completely, don't disagree with that your self-talk should be positive and you should be, giving yourself positive affirmations. I do believe with Darlene Marshall that with a lot of people that just does not work. I kind of have in mind, a picture of the people that have all the positive affirmations on, on their wall, even like written on their mirror. And they're sitting there, in front of the mirror in the morning, just telling themselves like, I'm beautiful, I'm good enough, I'm a strong, independent person, things, whatever it is that they have to tell themselves, right? I'm sure we've all seen memes and videos and movies or probably even know somebody that does this. And maybe it might even be you. But most of these people throughout the day, unfortunately, they still struggle, right? They can tell themselves this stuff all day and it's just not landing. Just telling yourself that I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm good enough, I'm confident, it's not landing. It doesn't work. So what Darlene really didn't get into, which is what I want to get into today, is like more exactly why does positive affirmations not work for a lot of people? And really it comes down to your subconscious not believing the positive affirmations that you are telling yourself. So you can't fight your subconscious. Your subconscious will always win. And if your subconscious is not on board, then everything else is not going to be on board, even if you are consciously trying to will it to happen. It's just not going to happen, basically, in a nutshell. So the subconscious controls about, 90 to 95% of what we do, how we see the world. And it affects us how we even think consciously too, as much as we don't want to admit that. And so you can think of the subconscious like a computer program that's running in the background and you don't even realize it's running in the background as you're using your main programs on the computer, right? It's doing all kinds of things back there that's possibly making your computer run slower or, buggier, or it's just making your computer crash maybe, or maybe it's just making your computer run more efficiently, in a positive stance. So if your subconscious does not believe that you are a strong, independent person, that you are beautiful, that you are confident, that you are good enough, then even if you tell yourself all these positive affirmations, it's not going to land because the subconscious is now running in the background saying, no, we're not. And I have all this evidence from past experiences to back me up and say that this stuff that you're telling me is not true. So we are still going to go through the lens and go through the filter of life that you're not good enough, that you're not a strong, independent person, right? So I heard a really good example from Thais Gibson from the Personal Development School, where she says, if you pretend, you are at a job interview, and before the job interview, naturally, you're nervous about if you're going to get the job or not, right? If you're going to, do good at the interview. And so you hype yourself up and you tell yourself, I'm going to get the job because I'm good enough. And throughout the whole time, waiting in the waiting room, before you meet the interview person, you keep thinking to yourself, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, right? And then when you go into the interview, and they ask, okay, why should you have this job? And you just say, because I'm good enough. The person in the interview is probably gonna say, okay, that's not really a reason, right? Like, just why are you good enough? And the subconscious works very similar as to the person in the interview. So when you're seeing all these positive affirmations, and we'll use the example of I'm good enough. You tell yourself, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, I'm good enough, right? The subconscious doesn't really work with language so much. It's not how the subconscious speaks to us, and it's not really how we can get through to our subconscious. So the subconscious is, taking the I am good enough line, right? And it's like, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know what this means. This doesn't mean anything to me. But what I do know is that there's all types of experiences that through repetition has told me that I'm not good enough. I can think of all the reasons in the world of why I'm not good enough. So in the end, as you go throughout the day, the filter that you're still looking through is I'm not good enough. Even though you're telling yourself I'm good enough, it's not coming out properly. It's not coming out in your actions. It's not coming out in how you see things around you. And the person that's interviewing you, right, is gonna say like, okay, but I don't see any reason why you're good enough. Like, you're just telling me that you're good enough, but I need to see reasons why. And the subconscious also needs to see and experience reasons why you're good enough. So how do we get through to the subconscious that like, hey, we probably are good enough, and when I say this consciously, I need to subconsciously believe this as well. So the subconscious mostly speaks through emotions and through events in the past that have happened repeatedly, right? So pretend that, you have social anxiety and you're trying to work on that, right? And you tell yourself, I'm safe, I'm fine, everything's cool. I'm going to handle this like a pro. And you go into a room full of people and you don't know anybody. So even though you are telling yourself, I'm fine, I'm cool, everything's great, your heart is starting to beat faster. You're starting to sweat more. So the body is still saying, I'm not safe, I don't feel good, I don't like being in this situation, because your subconscious is still saying, oh my God, I'm not in a good place, I'm unsafe. And whatever you believe about, the social anxiety, whether it's these people are going to not like me, I'm not accepted, it could be various other reasons why you don't feel safe around a crowd of people. This is running in the background. You might not even be you might consciously be thinking it too, but you might not even be consciously thinking like, I'm unsafe, these people are going to reject me. It's all happening, in the background. And even though you're telling yourself, I'm fine, I got this, everything in your body is saying, I don't have this, because your subconscious doesn't believe it, right? So we have to get on to the subconscious believing these positive affirmations before the positive affirmations will actually work, what we can do to start getting the subconscious on board with our positive affirmations that we want to tell ourselves. And keep in mind, yes, this is going to take time. The first few times or the first few days that you do this, it's probably not going to be so successful because, again, the subconscious learns through repetition. So the subconscious, again, needs proof. It needs reasons as to why, let's say, back to the example, I'm good enough for the job, right? When the interviewer asks you, why are you good enough? If you just say, because I'm good enough, that's not really an answer, right? Like the person in the interview is going to be like, okay, that didn't answer my question. Like, why should I give you this job? Why are you good enough? But if you're asked the question and you actually come up with proof and evidence as to why you are good enough, then your chances of landing the job are going to be tenfold and the interviewer is going to be impressed, right? I'm good enough because I have these skills which are going to benefit, the job and the company. I'm good enough because I have these experiences. I'm good enough because I have these qualities. And this is exactly how you need to talk to your subconscious to get it on board. So when you wake up in the morning and you're trying your positive affirmation routine and I am good enough. All right. So let's come up with reasons why I'm good enough, right? Why am I good enough? I'm good enough because I am nice to people. I'm good enough because I take care of myself physically, right? It could be really anything depending on your situation of what makes you think that you are qualified to be good enough, right? So a little exercise to do is if you are struggling with a certain positive affirmation, think to yourself of what evidence you have of why this is true, right? I guess a good example would be, I'm a strong, independent person. Let's just say, for example. Okay, so what evidence do I have that says I am a strong, independent person, right? And come up with evidence of why this is. And it could be, even if it's the littlest things, like I paid my bills on time today, right? I fixed the cupboard by myself, right? I got to work on time. I can get myself up in the morning without, somebody having to push me to do it. It depends on the person and what a strong, independent person looks like to them. So think evidence, even if it's small evidence of why I am good enough, why I'm a strong, independent person. It also helps sometimes if you think about how does it feel or what does it look like to be, a strong, independent person. And especially some people ask, well, what if I can't find any evidence? Even like the smallest evidence. What if I can't find any reasons as to why these positive affirmations are true? So think about what then it looks like to you. What do you need to be good enough? What does it look like to you? And what do you need to do to make that happen, right? So going back to the I'm a strong, independent person, what does being a strong, independent person look like to you? And what do you need to do to make that happen? What does it feel like inside of you, right? And, and then you can go from there. And I would suggest baby steps too. Like, in order for me to feel like I am a strong, independent person, I need my own vehicle so I don't have to rely on other people. Like, okay, so what do I need to do now in order to get a vehicle so I can be, independent on going places without having to rely on other people, right? Well, I need to save up money for a car. I need to get my credit better. And then you just take the steps towards that. And then eventually when you start taking those smaller steps, like today I saved 20 bucks. You know, today I saved this amount of money. And then you finally realize, like, oh my God, I'm doing it, right? Even if it's in baby steps and it takes a while, you're like, man, I'm doing it. I'm doing this. And then before you know it, you have your car. I'm not saying that any of the steps by any means is easy, but you're taking the steps and you're proving yourself repeatedly, like, oh, okay, I did do this. I did accomplish this. I am good enough. I really am a strong, independent person, right? So definitely don't overlook all the little evidences, even if it's really small, as to why the positive affirmations you are trying to tell yourself are actually true. Positive affirmations don't land with a lot of people because their subconscious is not on board and their subconscious does not believe these affirmations, and the subconscious will always overrule the conscious. So your subconscious, when it doesn't believe it, will always overrule what you are trying to tell yourself. So I want you to promise me one thing today, if you can do that, and this will help you definitely eventually get to your fabulous life. And I want you to promise me whatever affirmation you want to work on and is not landing with you. Try to find evidence of why it is true, even if it's the smallest evidence of why it's true. And if you absolutely cannot find even a small shred of evidence of why this positive affirmations are true, then think about what you need to make it true, right? And eventually, if you keep working on this, the positive affirmations will start working because your subconscious will start believing that what you are telling yourself consciously is true. And your subconscious and your conscious will start melting and working together. If you have any questions about what I just discussed today, or if you have any other topics that you would like to go over, please let me know and leave a comment below. I would love to make material that better suits you guys and helping you out. Also, if you are struggling with positive affirmations and need some help, get a hold of me on Instagram at The Fabulous Life Builder, and we can talk about having one-on-one coaching. And I am on TikTok as well, so if you want even more content on integrated attachment styles and personal development. And I really hope that you keep your promise that you just promised me, and you guys have a fabulous day. Bye!